out there doing deliveries. I mean, I really believe it's important to, I mean, sincerely, understand what we're doing.
Yeah, well, I kind of really like that because, a few of the comments you made, it sort of made me think like you've been out there dashing, right? Certain restaurants maybe, want to avoid, not going to name any names, right? Certain restaurants are a little slower, certain types of orders, certain ones where you maybe have to do shopping, or...
Now, right there, this is something that we have always spoke about here on Hot Facts. That a lot of drivers say, oh, this restaurant and this restaurant, there's certain restaurants you don't go into. That is completely false. We have always said that you don't know what's going on, who called out, if it was just a weird day. You don't know any of that. So when you blackball a list, you just blackball a list yourself. That is something that no app wants you to do, is categorize certain places just because you don't like them. Once you spread the word out to all over the other place, like no tip, no trip, which I wish you would have asked him about some of the things. The reputation of DoorDash and has no tip, no trip hurt your income and revenue. There are questions that I would have asked straight on up. You didn't do that. But this right here is one of the main things. You don't blackball restaurants and then try to say, well, he tried to say, well, there's certain restaurants you don't want to go into. He said that to the CEO who has a business plan. They're hooked up with Lunchbox and Novadine and everything else like that. They want to make sure the orders get out there, and drivers should not think that way. But listen to Tony Xu. He's going to go ahead and say it right now and repeat the same things that the Revolution, Hot Facts, and everybody that supports my channel, the news channel, and We Keep It Real, he's saying the same thing. Just like I said though, the only thing I wish is if he would have asked about the reputation of DoorDash, no tip, no trip, has it lowered their revenue and all this other stuff. Are you guys watching the channels that are going up there? You got to ask a lot of questions when you're doing interviews and to get it done. He was asking low key on the side of no tip, no trip by saying certain things. But as you know, the news channel, we will break this down. Listen to Tony Xu right here.
See, that's what off, so. But even on that one, Harry, though, but it's not even about the avoidance of those restaurants, right? It's about better understanding the why and how to deal with it, right? It's almost like if you think about how a city works, that's the way I think about how our business works. We have to be a digital representation of everything that happens physically. And sometimes in software, we like to just talk about writing beautiful software that just does the job, and we forget about the edge cases or just take a small amount of customization on the edge cases. In the physical world, everything is an edge case. So you can't just say, oh, there's that restaurant that takes forever, or that store that has stockouts all the time, and therefore we should just ignore them. Well, they're part of our communities, right? They represent the personalities. Maybe that restaurant that has a long wait time is just really popular. Or you know what? Maybe they just had a bad day and 2 staff members decided not to show up. And it doesn't mean that they're not a part of the community.
I guess that's sort of...
Now notice what Tony keeps saying. You guys hear Hot Facts say it all the time. Hannibal Was Hungry asked me, you keep using the word relations. Yes, you have to build that relationship up and have that. And Tony keeps saying community. What do I tell you guys? I want to sew up my community. This is coming straight from the CEO of DoorDash. All the weird stuff that you guys say, no one likes that and no one listens to that, Reese. That's not what we do. Well, it's coming straight from the CEO. Community, merchants, drivers, and customers. That's what it is. Keep listening. People, this is proof that what we say here on Hot Facts and the news channel is real. Stop with the nonsense. Keep listening.
The challenge, right? Because as a dasher, you do kind of think about if I have to wait, that's kind of why I like to earn by time, because now if I'm waiting extra,
totally, you don't have to think about it.
I don't have to think about that, right? In the past, sometimes we hear this complaint from gig workers, right? It's like, oh, it'd be so nice if I could just go out, deliver, no need to worry about all these things. But really, my whole business is kind of about let's figure out which restaurants to avoid, right? Because if you avoid those, you will literally make more money, right? By, avoiding certain
and
now listen how this guy says that we try to avoid certain restaurants because we can make more money. That's not true. And Tony is gonna just talk to him about that. Listen.
That means we didn't build a good enough product, right? If we built a product where it feels like some participant should feel like they must avoid another participant, right? Remember, it takes 3 to tango here, right? Consumers, merchants, and dashers, and we are all part of the same orchestration on the same order. We're all part of the same team, right? And so if we built a product as a platform where one of those participants, has some negative incentive with another, we have to solve for that. Yeah. We can't just say, oh, you know what, that's an edge case.
I think one thing a lot of dashers forget too is that this is a 3-sided market.
Now notice that there is a disconnect that dashers, and this is on many platforms too, there's a disconnect. They don't understand how to work with the customers and the merchants. This is something that needs to be improved. We try to improve it here on Hot Facts, but people, we got more for you. Keep watching.
Yeah. I mean, so if you were, if you had a dasher, if you had lots of dashers that you were talking to, for example, and you could kind of, what do you think dashers don't understand about either customers or merchants, right? Because I think it's easy, they're it's almost like behind the scene, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go, you pick up, you drop off, since the pandemic, you don't even see your customer's face anymore, right? I mean, that's good and bad, right? It's not as personal, right? So what would you tell dashers, hey, what do you not think about? What should you know or consider about the merchants or the customers?
What I would tell dashers, or frankly, merchants or even consumers, is that it does take 3 audiences to make one order successful every single time, right? And we as a platform have to solve for all of us and to make sure that, sustainably we can keep growing the GDPs of these cities, which is great for jobs, which is great for, earnings, which is great for sales for local businesses, and it's great for consumers. And so we have to think about all of those parts. But I totally get it. Look, it's out of sight, out of mind, right? And I've been on deliveries where, oh my gosh, why did the app take me to somewhere so far? Or why did I have to wait 20 minutes in line for, I've been a part of those really tough dashes, and that's a problem. We got to go fix, right? We're going to go fix it, right?
Best thing about this is that DoorDash, they actually, the WeDash, they go out there and dash also, so they can try to fix certain things, okay? It's good that Tony gets out there and does it. He's gonna go ahead and explain a little bit more, but right now, he's gonna get into something else. People, this is the for real deal. It just seems like the stuff that comes out Hot Facts' mouth comes out the CEO's mouth. People, we got more. Listen to him. I almost forgot an important point. Remember how we were trying to break down the different programs that DoorDash has and the different opportunities that you have? And we talked about certain drivers are going to be matched up with certain things because that's what they do. Well, Tony Shu was going to talk about that too. Another foot in your mouth for everyone that says what Hot Facts says is not true. Here goes some more truth.
And, should they expect to do, food delivery mixed with a little grocery, or are these separate categories? How do you think about the experience for dashers with all these different categories you guys are?
Yeah, I mean, we named the company DoorDash intentionally, knowing that knowing that we were a technology company from day one that started in restaurant delivery with the goal of building, last mile services for every category. And then over time, other types of services to help these local businesses grow. I mean, that was always the vision for the company.
Well, when I first did my orientation, when DoorDash used to do actual in-person orientations in Orange County, 9 years ago, when I signed up to drive for DoorDash, someone asked a question, do you have to take the food to the door? And the guy said, it's in the name, DoorDash. Yes, you have to take the food to the door.
I like that. But yeah, you're totally right though. We have, 500,000 plus restaurants, now over 100,000 non-restaurants or grocery stores, convenience stores, retail stores that, frankly, more non-restaurant stores than any other platform in North America. So we are giving dashers that choice and some dashers just love doing groceries. Some dashers love certain retail stores. And some dashers prefer the restaurants. And I think giving dashers more choice, bring more matching opportunities into the system is ultimately going to create more earnings as well as more flexible opportunities. And it'll give us, opportunities to also simplify and build something like Earn by Time.
Yeah.
Now, he said something interesting there. When I started doing DoorDash way back in the day, the first time, okay, I had to do the in-person orientation. The craziest thing is he said someone asked a question, Do we have to deliver to the door? Before the pandemic, everything was immediate door. You only left it there if they were not there, and they would say, can you just leave it at the door? You call customer support, let them know you left it there, take a picture, send that to them, and you are on your way, okay? On your way. But I did the orientation. A lot of you DoorDashers don't even know about the orientation, watching the videos and none of that stuff. You didn't have to do all that. Most of you are pandemic drivers who say that if the customer asks you, can you ask for extra ketchup, hot sauce, can you call me when you get here? A lot of you DoorDash drivers think that's extra work. That's part of what it is. It's called DoorDash, like Tony Shu said. You guys heard it from him, okay? You guys heard it from him. You also heard him say that, you know, the three-man party, okay? Customers, merchants, and drivers. Now, Mr. Flex would say, well, you guys know what he does. I don't know how you guys know what I do because my videos show what I do, and he's not following me around in person, so he's a straight liar here. He says he gets to people and talks to them forever, and then that's how he gets extra tips. No, it's called communication. You have to have communication skills in order to do what you got to do. I don't got to talk no one's ear off. Remember when I said I'll notice if it's a sports team logo there. I look at everything out there so I can relate to bring that up to the customer if we are actually going to communicate. You don't talk anyone's ear off and do all that because first of all, you got to get to your next order. So that's a straight up lie right there. Tony said these drivers have to learn how to do that. So whenever you guys hear Mr. Flex and that lounge say, well, you know what he does. None of you guys know what I do. And you should know what I do because I put it in the actual video so you can see. There is no talking someone to death or any of that. Whenever a customer wants to do an interview and they want to give a complaint about what would happen, they have time to do that. And I asked them, do you have time to, you want to go ahead and let the people know about this? And they say yes. I'm not talking, they are. That's another lie that comes from over there. You got to understand this stuff. It takes three: drivers, merchants, and customers. And communication is the main thing. Now, when you watch the lounge and all the other stuff, no one there has communication skills because they talk about me on why I have communication skills. Flex says he tells us that he has a gift and he knows how to talk to people. Duh! That's what Tony Shu said you need to do. Step your game up. And on a side note, I do that same thing with the merchants. I go in there, I know all the staffs, I communicate, they say hi. You've seen videos when they give hugs and all that stuff. That's part of communication in the community and relationship status with that, okay? I do that there. That's why when I go in, I say, the restaurant just gave me some free food just to give it to me. I got a whole Popeyes meal that cost $32. They gave it to me for free. It was $2.75. That's pretty much free, okay? I got a $5 catch tip and spent that on that. Why would they do that for me? You know why? Because of the skills, the communication skills, and how I conduct myself when I go in there. A lot of you guys gotta stop being haters and you'll learn something from Hot Facts, okay? And the funniest thing is, a lot of the things that Torp has said came out of Tony Shu's mouth also.
When a person doesn't like you, they team up with another person that doesn't like you. And before you know it, there's a whole slew of people that hate you. But here's the thing, those people, they don't even like each other. They're only gathered because of you. See how powerful you are?